Alright, so what we've got here is a demonstration of our tool, and I'm actually going to close it here for a second. And the way this works is you'll go to open the wall, you'll go to show panel, and then our tool pops up. But essentially what this is a full catalog of imported objects, so we're able to click next, backwards and forwards, to cycle through the models, and to essentially rotate them and view them as you see fit. Some models that have procedural textures, such as this one, the picture frame that has the alien of the different textures, apart from the defaults, which are this one and this one. These are user textures that I have been loading just to play with it. Essentially, so this is how the models work, and we're able to swap out textures for it on the fly. Textures inside here are actually just decals. I loaded them in from folder. So moving into the decals, the decals have a similar system to this. They have different signage, which are our models, square models, the horizontal and vertical, things like that, and similarly to the models, we're also able to create and cycle through and change the different options. For instance, for the triangular sign, there are two options available, with the radiation and the skull. Some signs such as these ones have more. For instance, this danger sign will have a number of applicable textures. What we're able to do then is essentially click the create button that creates the object in the game world. You see it appears there in the game world right here, and we're able to manipulate and put objects as we see fit. So similarly to that, we have our user repository as well, where I have a number of just some broken models, but essentially models that are loaded, which are loaded by user. We're also able to apply custom textures to that, and we can do this by adding the user texture and selecting a directory, something like this. We go to textures and well, let's see if I have any others. We'll be fine. I mean, I'll just load the curved sign textures, and you can see the textures with the other progress bar are getting imported, and now our count of textures are now basically increased, and we can texture any model that we load in here with those textures, or procedural textures more specifically. These models are in fact broken, but I can still recolor them, because I'm applying the different textures to them. Similarly, if we go back to the models, one thing you will notice is there's a create instance button when you create a normal object in game world, such as this picture frame here. It's actually it shares the same texture with everybody. In other words, if you were to go and manipulate and change the color of this texture, all objects that share that texture will change. However, if you use this option, we will be creating. Sorry, I'm going to actually choose a different. Yeah, there we go. You can actually see the effect right here. So I'm actually changing, and it's useful for changing multiple objects at the same time. However, if you were to generate this object with a unique instance, see, it takes a little bit of a while to bake the object. What we're doing at the back end is actually creating this texture and the model separately for you to be able to manipulate it. And then there we go. And once it appears, once it's there in game world, this is now a unique object with its own unique render texture, and you're able to manipulate it as you see fit. In fact, what I'm going to do here is just to show you. So once my computer here wakes up, there we go. Once we are regenerating the texture, there. So once I'm regenerating the texture, as you can see, the sign still changes like we had it. However, our generated object is now forever yours. So there we go. Thank you for your attention.